Welcome to FootballGameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our NFL Week 13 preview between the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings. Now let's take a look at some keys to victory for both teams, starting with the Bears. The Chicago Bears have to be able to stop the run this week versus the Minnesota Vikings, and I think they have to get aggressive in their run defense in obvious running situations. Let's say 1st and 10 versus that Vikings offense. I'm going to show you how they can get aggressive by sending their strong safety and what will be disguised as a 3-sky look, but it's really cover 0. They have to be able to stop the run, and they can also run twists with the inside back, 2 backers and 2 defensive tackles. So we're going to show you how they can play show 3-sky, which you see right here, strong safety in the hole in between the backer and corner, but they're really going to send him on the outside to try to get aggressive versus the run. It's cover 0, so that means no safety back, no help. These guys have one-on-one with the wide receivers, and the free safety, as the cadence winds down, he's going to get over top of the tight end because he's responsible one-on-one with that tight end. So what we're going to do, the defensive ends are contained defenders. They're maintaining the line of scrimmage contained because we're going to get pressure with the 2 backers and the 2 defensive tackles. We're going to have this defensive tackle slant to the inside shoulder of this tackle. Why? Because he's trying to create a way for this guy to squeeze down because we have the outside backer shooting in that A gap. So we have a twist. We're going to have the same action over here. This guy is going to push the outside shoulder of the center, trying to get the guard to try to help. Send the inside backer right around. Now we're going to send the outside backer around as well, getting that outside contained from the outside backer, outside pressure, while we have the defensive end playing contained. We're having contained by this defensive end because, again, as the cadence starts to wind down, we're going to walk the strong safety up, and his job is to get pressure off the edge. So you're trying to box in the running game, creating interior pressure with the 2 defensive tackles slanting and also twisting with the linebacker. So that's how they can get aggressive versus the running game of Minnesota, because I'm going to tell you right now, if they can't stop Adrian Peterson, it's going to be a long day for that Bears defense, just like it was last week versus the St. Louis Rams. Last week versus the Green Bay Packers, Christian Ponder had his best game of the season, and I think this week versus Chicago, he could have similar success if they utilize 3 layered routes and also find creative ways to utilize Cordero Patterson. I'm going to show you how they can do both in one play. You see what we have here, shotgun set, condensed set to the right, to the strong side, and we also have the receiver on the back end. And this is Cordero Patterson in the backfield. I'm going to show you how we can have 3-layer routes and also get creative with Patterson to generate a big play opportunity. So obviously what we're going to do, we're going to have on the backside a 16-yard comeback. Give Christian Ponder that read right there. He knows he has to come back. He can make this throw to it. If it's wide, it's going out of bounds. So it's a safe throw right here for him, but he also knows he has that in his wheelhouse. Now what we have for the tight end, we're going to stem the tight end up, and we're going to work him up 12 to 14 yards and bring him over the middle of the field. So this is 12 to 14 yards right here. Put that down right there so you can remember that. We're going to have the guy that's aligned 1 by 2 to the tight end, 1 yard deep, 2 yards off. We're going to have him run the crosser. That's your built-in hot read as well. This is 4 to 6 yards. Built-in crossing route so Christian Ponder can get rid of the football quickly, and that could be a receiver or it could be a tight end. We're going to have Adrian Peterson in the backfield as well. He's going to push up through the offensive line and settle down right where the crosser vacated, hopefully creating a little rub route right here. You can dump the ball off right there for Ponder as well. So that way you give him a safety valve, a built-in hot read, and a wheelhouse throw. He knows he can always throw the comeback deep to the outside, and we have the big play opportunity right here over the middle of the field with the tight end. But we're going to send Cordero Patterson into motion, and he's going to go all the way out to the top of the numbers. What that tells me, if I'm watching it, like he's about to run an in-breaking route. But a lot of times people don't catch on too quickly, so you run him to the top of the numbers at the snap of the ball, 12 yards into the post. Now that safety is going to be put in a bind. Either he's going to climb this post or he's going to squeeze down on this in route. Either way, Ponder puts the safety in a high-low situation where he's going to have to make a choice, a 2-on-1 situation, and that way you have 1, 2, 3 layered routes, safety valve, wheelhouse throw. He can't go wrong with this play, and I think that's how they can have success this week versus Chicago, by giving him options that he can feel comfortable with, and I think that's how they can be successful throwing the football versus that Bears defense.
Now here are some coaching points for both teams in this ball game. For the Bears, they have to maintain gap discipline. Last week versus St. Louis, they got gashed in the running game because they were out of position on the backside. That can't happen this week versus the Vikings. And on offense, you have to play from the spread formation versus that cover 2 defense. I think that's how they can have some success. Widen out that Vikings defense and try to work the middle of the field with tight end Marcellus Bennett. And third down offense and red zone defense will be key this week versus the Vikings. As with any football game, those two elements are very important, but even more so for the Bears because they're so beat up and decimated with injuries. They have to win on third down. They have to make sure they maximize their opportunities in the red zone in order to come away victorious. And for the Vikings in this ballgame, you want to run until they're able to stop it. The Bears' weakness plays right into the strength of that Vikings offense, and it's actually what they really want to do from an offensive philosophy. And you have to take early shots downfield with the possibility of the running game working and or the Bears going over aggressive to try to stop the run. Take those shots deep downfield to Cordero Patterson to generate a big play in the passing game. And they can't allow Matt Forte and the Bears running game to get to the perimeter. They have to keep it boxed in, tackle to tackle, and that way the linebackers can play downhill and make a play at or behind the line of scrimmage. Now here are some in-game adjustments that you want to watch out for in this ball game for Chicago. The alignment versus the running game. Will the Bears keep a linebacker on the line of scrimmage or keep a safety closer to the box? Either way, they're going to have to do a better job and be in better position to stop the run. And I think you're going to see heavy twin sets on offense. I'm a big fan of the Bears receiving personnel, and I think they have the opportunities to cause problems for the Vikings on the back end by aligning both Brandon Marshall and Alshon Jeffrey to the same side. It creates a mismatch in the slot. It also dictates coverage, and it opens up opportunities on the backside for Martellus Bennett, the tight end. And I'm interested to see what types of contained pressure will be dialed up by the Bears defensive coordinator Mel Tucker versus a scrambler and Christian Ponder. Will it be dual outside pressures, or will it be a combination of an inside-outside type of blitz? Either way, they have to keep him contained and bottled up in that pocket. And for the Vikings, you look at early trickeration. Do they go with the trick play to try to go for the jugular very early in the ballgame, whether it be an end around with Cordero Patterson or maybe a flea flicker to try to generate a big play deep down the field? Somehow, some way, the Vikings will pull one out of the hat early versus the Chicago Bears. And it'll be interesting to see if they double team Julius Peppers no matter where he's aligned, whether it be outside at his normal defensive end position or if he kicks down inside as a defensive tackle. They have to find ways to block Chicago's best pass rusher and keep him out of the backfield and maintained at the line of scrimmage. And I'm a big fan of how they utilized both Adrian Peterson and Toby Gerhart last week versus the Green Bay Packers, and I think that type of rotation can be successful versus a team like Chicago. You want to keep hitting a defense that struggles versus the running game with fresh legs in the backfield. The X factor for the Browns in this ballgame will be their special teams unit. I believe they have to help out their defense and their offense by generating a big play in a return game. So that's up to Devin Hester and company to make sure that happens this week versus the Vikings. The X factor for the Vikings will be that offensive line. They have the advantage up front versus this tender interior defensive line of Chicago. Can they hold their own, and pass protection will be the key, and whether or not that passing game takes flight this week versus Chicago. I like the Bears in this ballgame. I do believe defensively they will struggle at times to slow down Adrian Peterson, but they will come away with that one stop to get the ball back for their offense, and I think their offense matches up well versus this Vikings defense, so I think they'll spread the field and be able to hit big plays deep down the field, throwing the football, so I like the Bears to win this one over Minnesota. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Bear fan forums and Viking fan forums for always showing football game plan support.